Hey guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at alliseeisW. In today's video, we'll be covering latest updates on Opendoor Technologies, ticker Open. We'll be going through the latest updates on social media, what's going on with Opendoors, why is this stock gaining so much traction. We'll also be doing technical analysis, price predictions. I'll be doing deep dive analysis where I'll be sharing with you different technical analysis indicators and what my predictions of Open Door Technologies is. Now, if you're new to this channel, if you're part of the Open Army team, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. First off, I wanted to cover the key highlights from an Open Door article that was written from Forbes magazine. That's huge. We're going global now. There's been a lot more articles being generated, and the fact that we have Open Doors on Forbes magazine, that just shows the bullishness. Financial institutions are buying. I'll share with you which financial institutions. Retail, we got Open Army, and we also got big time whales buying as well, like Mr. Anthony Pompliano. Now, what's so unique about this article? So, in this article, just to highlight key things, there's a valuation gap. It's really comparing, open doors to peers like Zillow. And, according to this article, Open Door has that path trajectory to get to 9 to 10, dollars in share price. But to me, I think that's on the moderate, conservative level. We may very well get to $9 or $10 like shortly within the matter of days and weeks. So I believe that that's on a conservative level, and we may very well just blast off beyond these levels on the near term course. Now, why could it work? Housing market rebound, there are signs of stabilization. We're seeing interest rate cuts coming soon, along with Genius Bill Act, with exclusion taxes that allows for people to want to buy and upgrade their homes without, having to put tax up front. Better margins, gross margins are increasing when you think about taking out the middleman with realtor agents. Open door gains on that 5% anytime when, an owner sells their house, all of those profits goes to Open Door. When you think about their AI platform, their software user interface, it's really generating revenue for the company versus the realtor agent. Business diversification, this is really just changing how we look at the entire real estate ecosystem. A lot of people are reliant on applications now, buying, selling things on their phone, laptop. So this is really iBuying type of, trajectory. Strong partnerships, agreements with Zillow, Realtor, Open Doors ecosystem is definitely expanding. And this is why, Forbes is bullish on the potential upside, but consider this a potential value play in real estate technology as you look at how AI user interface really bridges the gap. Let's take a look at this post. So Mike, just a 13F filing from Group One Trading, $45 billion fund. They bought, you know, now holding 1.5 million shares of Open Doors. So they've increased their amount of shares just recently. They're bullish. We heard about Goldman Sachs loading up, as well as other, angel investors, financial institutions loading up, and that's not even retail. Open, let's take a look at this, this summary. Trading open since July. Six reasons I am bullish on this name. New CEO announcement soon. U.S. interest rate cuts imminent. Price now above $5, allowing institutional buying. Strong retail following. Improving financials. Turnaround company. Possible AI play. What does that tell you? Things are looking very, very bullish for Open. Jason posts, Open now 22 million ahead of revenue guidance quarter to date versus expected. Current as of today, 634 million. Expected this time in the quarter, 612 million. 203 million left to close to hit target, 837 million. 24 days to go. What does that tell you? I mean, that's just going to show how bullish Open Doors financial numbers are, and that's going to be attributed to just overall, the amount of business that they're generating. They're selling, more than 80 homes, per day. And the fact that we have a lot more people buying the stock, this is really going to drive up the market cap for the company. Anthony Pompliano, he actually bought shares of Opendoor as well. He has a big fan base, so this really, changes the game for Opendoor here. He's saying, do we think open employees are working hard tonight for shareholders? So, now that we're having a change in their leadership board, when we look at our current employees, is now a time to just, find ways on how we can, streamline and align the business model with the current employees we have. Like, is work from home going to be something that we will continue to sustain, or we're going to have a hybrid approach or online approach, on-site approach? So we will see how things pan out. Carp God posts, good luck buying the dip on Open. Open is now one of the most watched stocks in the world. There are retail investors pouring in from almost every country on the planet. I have friends all over Europe opening brokerage accounts and buying shares on a Revolution app. So that just shows you something that, the whole entire world right now is looking at open doors. So very bullish. You know, Stevie O posts, give him a follow as well. I call him the lead army general of Open Army. He's saying Open is a sleeping giant with 10 100x potential. Price doubling scenario starting at 666, $13, 4x, $26, 8x, $53, 16x, $106, 32x, $213, 64x, $426. Open currently generates 5.13 billion in revenue with a market cap of 3.69 billion, giving it a revenue to market cap multiple of just 0.72x. Compare this to high growth tech peers: Nvidia 110 billion revenue, Tesla 100 billion revenue, Palantir 3.75 billion revenue. Opens ultra low 0.72x multiple, highlights its undervaluation relative to those peers. If Opendoor executes strongly and captures even a fraction of such multiples, driven by its innovative real estate platform and favorable market trends, 10 to 100x upside is within reach. Real estate market volatility and operational challenges could impact growth. However, Open's tech-driven model and scalability offer a compelling case for outsized returns. The rate cuts, the new CEO, maybe some board changes and leadership shakeups are some of the things that could get things moving for Opendoor. With that, let's cover technical analysis before I play a video clip on day 18 of Eric Jackson in front of Drake's house. So let's take a look from a zoomed out perspective first. Opendoor technicals. So I have, just high level MACD indicators as well as alpha trend indicators. When we scale out, I mean, just zoom out. When in doubt, when you see it running like this, you kind of question, will it continue to go up? I mean, zoomed out at one point back in 2021, this was a $40 stock. We had our buy indicator kick into gears on the alpha trend. And just looking at the MACD, we're seeing, bullish divergence signals kicking in. So I do expect we're going to continue to see, MACD vertical histograms on the weekly chart. This is looking very bullish. I do see the upside getting into double digits. We may very well get to $10, $12 and then start, consolidating back into the single digits before, we create that as a new support base before we launch. But this tells you something, zoomed out perspective, high risk over the last several years since 2021 up until recently. Now we're gaining traction and retail support. Let's take a zoomed in perspective. So I continue to have the alpha trend on. Zoomed in, we see the buy signal kick in August. Definitely a signal you want to take advantage of, riding up that momentum. Key thing is when we have the buy signal for the CM Williams VIX. I like using this to monitor any dip opportunities. Obviously, August 1st, around that dip opportunity, congratulations if you were to buy at $2. My first buy was around the $3 range, but that's still good. I believe in the upside. When you couple this with the alpha trends momentum indicator, you're seeing gap up. So you don't see any, buying, the dip signal with the buy when there's blood on the street, signals, because Obviously, right now, Opendoor has huge potential inflows right now, so we won't expect to see any green light candles showing up on the buy when there's blood signal on the street. Who knows? And eventually, it might turn on, but right now, the alpha trends continues to go up with the buy signal. I really do think we're going to get to that to $12 before we start consolidating in the month of September. Switching gears, just looking at, momentum squeeze indicator and just looking at, swing support resistance level. So what are we seeing here? I mean, what we're looking at with squeeze momentum indicator, it continues to go up. So there's definitely a potential short squeeze going on. We heard about Citron, taking a short position. So I think there's a lot of, opportunities on the bull side. And, hopefully we can see a short squeeze come into gears here. What we see with the prior resistance, set at around, 591, where we currently are at, close to $7. The prior support level on these dotted lines was at that $5. So now I really do think that we've gone beyond that range and we may very well have solid support base at around that $5 range. But it'll be interesting to see how things play out as we, move forward in the rest of September. As we start breaking out with the squeeze momentum, indicator rising, I think that we're gonna just start testing new levels, $9 to $12, before we start, consolidating, into perhaps like the $8 range is my perspective. But this is all just what's going to be going on in the upcoming weeks in September. I really do think as we scale out, open doors, road to $82 is looking very solid. When we get to end of year, we may very well get to like 25 to $40. You scale out $82. I really do think that, long-term investing, open door can be like the next Carvana stock. We're going to get to triple digits. Carvana, we know, is, close to $400. It's only a matter of time when Open Door Technologies is going to become a triple digit stock. So huge upside. With that, let's turn it over to Mr. Eric Jackson.
Hey Drake, day 18, no days off here. It's Saturday. I want to talk to you about displacing Jay-Z and Kendrick. When I've done some of these videos, I've talked with you, Drake, about the benefits of owning a stock like Open and how you can make a substantial amount of money that would like help win the war with Kendrick. But today I chat GPT'd who is the richest rapper, and according to ChatGPT, it's Jay-Z at 2.5 billion. Now, I don't know your personal finances, obviously. You're doing great, Drake. And I've tweeted this week, you have the most number one hits of any rapper by far, which is another reason why it's crazy that Goodell didn't tap you to do the halftime show and instead went with Kendrick last year. But the main reason why Jay-Z's made money, according to ChatGPT, is investments. He had the title. He has a clothing line like you do. And he's made a bunch of real estate and art investments. So we need to think of a way for you not just to pass him by a nose, but to shatter the record for the richest rapper. And to me, the only way that I know as a guy who's a hedge fund manager from North York, I can only think of stocks as a way to do that. It's not through sports betting. It's not through crypto trading, where a lot of crypto doesn't move these days. It's through names that can 100x, similar to Opendoor. I have another idea I'm going to be announcing in the next couple of weeks as well. So I really want you to think, Greg, long and hard this weekend when you're in Italy or wherever the heck you are in Europe, about how do you really show the world what we know in the six already, that you are the number one by far. So have future, give me a ring.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this open door. So there you have it, Open Army family. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe, share it with your network. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.